Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live at 5. I'm Beth Stevens.
Andy Lefkowitz.
Look, we have a really good guest for you today because this person is from everybody's favorite show, The Wicked. That's what I like to call it. PJ Benjamin is here, the wizard himself.
We're super excited, guys.
Yes, of course. But first we have some news, right?
We sure do. So, Manhattan Theatre Club announced 2 new shows for their season today. The first is a transfer from London, coming from the Royal Court Theatre. Lucy Kirkwood's play The Children will play Broadway's Samuel J. Friedman Theatre, previewing November 28th and opening December 14th.
A new play.
Yeah, a new play.
By a lady playwright.
Amen.
Which I like.
I like that as well.
That sounds good. What else is going on there?
So Anna Ziegler, who has had a lot of work produced in New York, has a play that she wrote called Actually that's going to play MTC's Studio at Stage 2 Theater. Prior to that run, it'll be running at the Geffen Theater in LA, Geffen Playhouse in LA, and Williamstown Theater Festival this summer. So that's really exciting.
So you can go to all the fancy places. You can go to the Berkshires, you can go to LA. That's amazing.
Yeah, and
cool.
before it just lands in New York.
It's a very special day.
It sure is, guys.
It's musical theater God's birthday. Yeah. Do you know what that means? God's like 2 people. Tell us.
So it is Stephen Sondheim and Andrew Lloyd Webber's birthdays today.
It's like astrological madness.
It's pretty exciting. So actually, if you go to our website, you'll see an amazing quiz that you can take called Find Out Which Stephen Sondheim or Andrew Lloyd Webber song best describes you. Which one best describes you?
What you should belt out every day.
Yeah.
Just to be on the even keel. Yeah.
Amen,
That's so
guys.
good, though.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Everybody always shows that, mashup they did for some kind of Cameron McIntosh tribute many years ago where they sang, do you remember what they sang?
Oh my gosh.
It was like Music of the Night and Send in the Clowns. We didn't put that back on the site because it's been on the site every March 22nd for the last billion years. So we're just moving on to something more fun.
Yeah, and we're making it about you, so that's exciting.
It's all about you.
Yeah.
It's all about you. What else is going on?
So last night was the Supergirl and Flash crossover episode, which we've all been looking forward to for quite some time. And something that was really exciting about it was that Dear Evan Hansen composers Justin Paul and Benj Pasek premiered a song called Running Home to You. And Grant Gustin sang it beautifully, and it's on our site and definitely worth a listen. And we also have on there this
song. And then Darren Criss.
Yeah, Darren Criss.
Because Darren Criss.
Of course,
obviously.
Right? Come on, guys. And Jeremy Jordan, the 2 of them, sang a song called Put a Little Love in Your Heart. And it's also there for a listen. Definitely worth it.
For a listen or repeat watching. Yes.
Definitely
yes,
repeat.
Yes.
So the hit play The Kite Runner played London last year and now is coming back for a return engagement.
That's based on the best-selling novel.
It sure is.
Did you read that novel?
Yeah, I did not read the novel.
Anyone in a book group read that novel. It's a very deep, kind of disturbing, very interesting book. I didn't see the play. But
I didn't see it, but it sounds like it's very theatrical, and it's so great that they have another chance to, play it elsewhere in London.
That's over the summer.
That is over the summer, that is. Other exciting news, so the cast of Broadway Chicago...
Speaking of birthdays.
Yeah, amen. They celebrated John Cander's birthday yesterday with a special performance that featured original cast members and...
of the revival.
Of the revival.
Just want to be clear.
Yeah, that's fair, that's fair. I don't think Cheetah was there. But you can see some great photos on our site.
Can I just say, John Kander, who's a treasure of the American musical theater and all theater everywhere, is 90. And
Incredible.
So young.
And
he's the youngest 90-year-old person
I've ever met. And he just premiered a new musical at the Vineyard Theater called Kid Victory. It's incredible, which I just saw and was amazing. Amazing. Something cool that happened at Chicago last night is that Bebe Neuwirth, who was the original Velma in this revival, she announced at the end that there's this new initiative called the John Kander High School Initiative that will provide up to 90 underserved high schools with the Chicago High School Edition free of charge.
I have to say PJ was in Chicago for a long time as Amos, and that must be a high school version.
Yeah.
I don't think that number 8 will be in there. If you know Chicago, you know what I'm talking about. PJ knows what I'm talking about.
Totally.
Anyway.
So Anna Villafañe, who is killing it in On Your Feet, is featured in our latest show, People. And she's on there discussing life-changing Broadway advice she received from Hamilton star Christopher Jackson and the importance of getting back up after literally falling.
Literally. Not figuratively. Also, there's some Harry Potter stuff.
Yeah.
Just so you know. You need to know that. It's important. Okay, tell me about Monopoly.
Okay, guys.
That's a game people play. It takes like 17 hours to play it.
Yeah, we all played it when we were kids. I certainly did. So it's being turned into a musical, which is just super cool.
That sounds confusing.
Yeah.
So explain it.
All right, so here's the deal. So you're not going to see the thimble, tap
thimble
dancing.
Versus the iron.
That would be incredible. However, what it's going to be, apparently, is a Depression-era comedy set in Atlantic City.
Which is what all those places are that you're trying to get to. Those are Atlantic City streets.
Right. And
I just learned that today.
It's pretty neat. And the inventor of Monopoly, Charles Darrow, is going to be the central character. So this sounds
But more importantly, not more importantly, but new information. Rick Ellis is going to write this. Rick Ellis, who wrote Jersey Boys.
Peter and the Starcatcher.
Is a wonderful writer. And is also working on the most important musical that's coming down the pike, the Cher musical.
Yeah.
He's got quite a range.
It's pretty neat, guys. So we're really excited about that. And so the upcoming film version of Speech and Debate, which is a play that Stephen Karam wrote way back in the day, will have a red carpet premiere at the American Airlines Theater on Broadway, featuring Broadway stars. So that's really exciting.
Well, he has a long history with the Roundabout.
Yes, he sure does.
Speech and Debate premiere off Broadway. Of course, he won a Tony for The Humans.
Yes.
And I saw the movie, and it's super wacky and fun.
Oh my goodness. I hear it's incredibly theater nerdy, so I'm super pumped about it. So that's exciting. So the writers of the new musical War Paint, Scott Frankel, Michael Corey, and Doug Wright are featured.
Who also wrote Great Gardens
They
together.
also did, yeah, with Michael Greif as director.
That's right.
But these three writers are featured in our latest Building Broadway series. So that's on the site. And worth checking out. The musical sounds incredible.
I saw it.
Yeah, you saw it in Chicago.
Yes, I was in Chicago for all of 20 hours just to see Patti LuPone and Christine Ebersole in this musical. It's really fun.
Oh my goodness.
Really fun.
And it's about cosmetics titans Helena Rubinstein and Elizabeth Arden. I mean, it sounds incredible. It's based on a book. I'm really pumped about it, and I'm so glad you checked it out.
Of course I did.
Yeah.
I would fly anywhere to see Christine Ebersole and Patti LuPone. Do anything, almost, within reason.
Who wouldn't?
Okay, let's talk about Day in the Life.
Okay, let's do it. So
this is such a fun photo feature that we do with our photographer Matthew Murphy, who's super talented. This is about everyone's favorite person in the world, Lindsay Mendez, also a Wicked alum.
Yes.
Just want to point that out.
Yeah.
Who's in Significant Other.
Yes. And that's on the site. And lastly, Vanessa Williams, Michael Urie, both of them veterans of Ugly Betty, and LaShawns are all going to perform in the 4th edition of Concert for America at Town Hall. And this is a concert that features songs, comedy, and commentary about standing proudly for the Stars and Stripes.
That sounds very patriotic when you say it that way. I like that.
I'm on board with it, guys.
All right, well, it's really lovely talking to you, Andy, but PJ Benjamin's here, so...
Take care, guys. Welcome, PJ.
You guys, welcome PJ Benjamin of The Wicked.
I can't believe it. Where have you all been my life? I'm learning so much.
Our speed reading of the news.
Oh my God, it's fantastic. This wasn't around when I was moving here 46 years ago. Holy cow.
Okay, let's start there.
Okay.
First of all, thank you for coming here.
Yeah,
I don't often get to spend my afternoons with a wizard.
Well, you are.
So this is very special. It's very special. So you just recently went back into Wicked in February, right?
Yes, right.
How many times have you been in the show?
I have been in, this is my 5th time back in New York, and I did the road company for 20 months, and then I went back out for the road for 4 months. So I think today could have been my 2700th performance.
I think that sounds accurate.
Yes.
I think that sounds exactly right. It's 2,700.
But it's never a dull moment. You're always learning something. Sometimes I even, like today, I went like, oh my God, Cheryl Lee Ralph, who's in our show, who's wonderful. I said, Cheryl, Metamorable. I just said, I just learned something new and wonderful. Why didn't I do this 2,700 performances ago?
That's amazing that you can still find new things in a character you've done so many times.
Well, that's how you keep it fresh, and it inspires me. I love watching the audience come in. I have a little place where I watch the audience come in, and it's kind
of... You
of...
won't tell us where that is, will you?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you on the side.
Off the record.
Because you can see how hopeful they are and how expectant they are. You know, the children, the parents. And so it inspires me to go out there and then have a good time.
It's a fun role. Now let's talk. You've done so much theater. And film and TV, but so much theater.
Yeah. They always say I've been around. Well, I've been nearby.
You've been nearby. That's nice. And I was thinking about you because I saw you in Chicago many times.
Yeah.
And that's a Joel Grey role.
Yeah, I know.
And now you're doing another Joel Grey role. But I wouldn't necessarily say that you have anything in common with Joel
I know. In fact, I turned up when I was doing for Amos in Chicago. I turned down the audition for a whole year. I told my agent I'm not right. Barney Martin was the original Mr. Cellophane. And finally my agent, Michael Kelly Boone, said, you have no excuse. You're going to the audition. And I got it, and I was there 6 years, I did. I had 22 Roxys. 22 Roxys. And now I counted...
Do you have a favorite? This is so
everybody always asks me that.
That's such a mean question.
It's always the person I'm working with at the time.
Of course.
But I do have a favorite, actually.
So much off the record we're going to learn.
Then I've actually counted up, I had 22 Elphabas.
22 and 22.
22 and 22.
That's
it's
amazing.
A good score.
Well, it's nice to have a show you can come back into.
Yeah.
And sort of make it your home, like the Gershwin can be your home.
And you come back fresh. You come back very fresh. And we have a very, very strong cast right now. In fact, they just asked me to extend, and I said, sure, with this cast, with nice. Jenny DeNoia and Cara Lindsay. I mean, they're just terrific. Absolutely terrific.
We love them all. And so people are already asking you questions because Wicked... You know, fans of Wicked are really serious. And I love that about them.
But I have to tell you a funny story. I hadn't been back in the show, I think, for like 16 months. So I went away and did other shows, musical of Hee Haw. And I actually went to the Muni, where it's a 10,000-seat house in St. Louis.
Which is so much. The biggest house on Broadway is, what, like 2,000 seats?
Right.
So.
And so this is a 10,000-seat outside place in St. Louis. And I did The Wizard of Oz. And it's so big, and it's outside, that they said, PJ, we're going to have a real balloon for you. But it was so windy one day, at the end of the show, I'm supposed to take off, but it was so windy they brought the balloon back down, and there's Dorothy and I looking at each other going, and
there's no place like right here.
We're
not moving.
And I knew I had to get off stage, so I said, the wind's got me, the wind's got me. And I took myself off
Improv
stage.
Is very important sometimes.
Yes, it is.
So people are already asking questions because Wicked fans, you know who you are. And Amelia says, PJ, you were my first wizard.
Oh,
that's very sweet.
I remember you. I remember you.
Where else did you do it when you were on tour?
Oh, boy.
Were you all over? You did the first national.
The first national. We hit every place. We had, Salt Lake City.
How does such a big show move so quickly?
Well, when we go into a new town, we actually have 2 days off. And so that's kind of nice for the actors, but the crew.
That's all the tech stuff.
Yeah, that's so much tech, and it's and then they don't cut down on that road company. I mean, it's pretty much
it's full.
You're seeing what you're seeing in New York.
It's amazing. That's amazing. There's so many questions. Tim says, "Is it hard to puppeteer Oz's head?"
I don't puppeteer the head. It's a stagehand, Joe Schwartz. He's terrific. And I said, Joe, you're setting me up, so give that head some character.
He's acting with you.
And he is. He's acting with me. He does. We talk it through every night before we go out there.
These are some interesting questions. These aren't really Wicked questions, but we'll go for it. Peyton is asking, what's your favorite Sondheim or Lloyd Webber song? Or both, because it's their birthday.
I think, am I right? Did Sondheim write Sending the Clowns?
Yes.
That's my favorite. That is definitely my favorite.
I mean, you're going to pick the classic. You're going to pick the classic. Elise has a very interesting question. Fierro or Bach?
Fierro or Bach what?
That's it. Fierro or Bach. That's your question.
Fierro or Bach?
How can you pick between those two? They're not the same. That's apples and oranges.
The difference in height?
That's totally different. Now, I was looking back through your bio, and you were in Torch Song Trilogy.
Yes, I was.
In a very important role.
Yes, I was.
And it's coming back.
I know.
How do you feel about that?
I think it's terrific.
So you played the role that Harvey played.
created. I did. In fact, I did it on the road for 9 months, and then they brought me into New York when the show closed. I closed the show in New York. But the biggest thing about Torch Song Trilogy is it's where I met my wife. And we've been together 30 years. I'm telling this on the air. My wife, Louisa Flanagan.
As long as my arm, and that's the one I picked out.
I know, of all shows. And here she was. Here's the drag queen falling in love with the girl from the second act. It was so cute.
That's the beauty of theater right there.
We actually met in Pippin originally, and then we re-met in Torch Song Trilogy. But we fell in love in Torch Song Trilogy.
Is
Louisa Flanagan is her name. She's actually doing Trip to Bountiful up in Maine at the Good Theater. She's in rehearsal.
2 actors, still working, still married.
Yeah, that's a hard, and that's
an unusual thing, actually.
Yes,
unfortunately.
It is. I got to tell you, you have to work at it, because I came in from off the road, then she went out with Little Women, and then she comes in, I go out, and it's always a negotiation.
Yeah. So let's talk about your Broadway debut.
Oh, God.
I want to hear about your Broadway debut.
Okay. I was in the ensemble of Pajama Game, the first revival, with Cab Calloway, Barbara McNair, Hal Linden, directed by George Abbott. I was in the ensemble. We were trying out at the Kennedy Center.
You were dancing, weren't you?
That's
a dance-heavy show.
I was a good faker. I'm still a good faker. But we were trying out at the Kennedy Center, and both boys in the steam heat number hurt themselves. So they taught me the number in the wings at the Kennedy Center. I went on that night. George Abbott said, that young man is going to do the steam heat number when we go to Broadway. And I did the steam heat number on Broadway. There was an agent in the audience opening night, and he hired me. And from then I was doing roles.
Isn't that a wonderful story?
It was. It was.
But
That's
like a magical story. Did you know that story? Did you know that? Nobody knew that.
See, these are all new things I'm teaching you. I'm telling you. But I got an opening night. We have this hat trick, and I have some hat tricks actually, and wonderful. And I have a derby, and I have to do this big hat trick. And we were all scared to death because if you miss the hat trick, there goes the number. Of
course.
And so the girl does it first, and now it's the two boys' number at a time, and I come. Here's the da 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 da. Oh, I did it. Scared to death.
Of course, you were in the most iconic number in that show.
I know. I can't believe.
He's so
I've been
humble
very
about
lucky.
it.
I've been very, very, very lucky. And my producers in Wicked have been great. My producers in Chicago have been great. I have had very good people. Very good people.
So you won't tell us your favorite Elphaba, and you won't tell us your favorite Roxy. So I have nothing more to say to you then.
Okay.
Bye, PJ Benjamin. You guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. Bye.